Hey everybody, I'm CJ. Hey everybody, I'm CJ. And what I want to do right now is talk about why it is that shill media are called shill media. And honestly, it's hard to find a much better example than this one right here. This is on CBR.com. Title of the article says, "The Halloween multiverse is even more complicated than it seems." And the little subheading here says, "With so many sequels, remakes, and reboots, the Halloween franchise has 5 timelines, with one still growing." So, I don't know about the rest of you, but as I'm kind of a big Halloween fan, a fan of the Halloween movie series, seeing an article like this, I think, oh my gosh, Halloween multiverse, 5 timelines. This is an article that I have to check out. And I opened up this article hoping to learn something. And no, I got a Shill Media puff piece. So basically, what happens is the hack job writer of this article introduces the first Halloween movie, the original one from 1978, works through a discussion about Halloween 2. From there, talks briefly about Halloween 4, which I'm a big fan of, by the way. Talks briefly about Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers, before moving on to Halloween 5, and then finishing it all off with Halloween 6, just to kind of give some perspective on the original timeline. All in all, not off to a great, not a bad start, but not a great start, all things considered. And it's really after this section that things just really go off the rails. See for yourself. That was timeline 1. This hack job writer identifies as timeline 2, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Now, I don't know this to be true, but my guess is that people, and I mean like normies, civilians, people who aren't necessarily huge fans of the Halloween series, even they know that Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, it's really its own thing. It has nothing at all to do with Michael Myers or the story as set forth in Halloween 1 and 2, nothing to do with Laurie Strode, nothing to do with any of that stuff. It's very much its own movie. And the reason for that is because when Halloween was thought to be turned into a franchise, the idea that everybody had was each successive movie was going to be kind of its own thing, that they were going to create sort of an anthology franchise where Halloween 1 and 2, that's its own thing. Halloween 3 is its own thing. Halloween 4, its own thing, so on and so forth. Basically, every single movie was going to have original characters, original stories, and they really wouldn't fit together with one another at all. And that was the plan right up until the minute that Halloween 3 Season of the Witch pretty much bombed at the box office. And then after that, there was this big rethinking that took place, and the decision was made, no, we're going to go back to the story of Michael Myers, since that seems to be the only thing that anybody cares about. And so it was. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch was followed up with Halloween 4 The Return of Michael Myers. That's why it has the subtitle that it does, The Return of Michael Myers, so that every dummy who looks at it will know, oh, so we're going back to that story. Okay, I'll watch that. And indeed, people did. Halloween 4 was a pretty big success in theaters. That led to Halloween 5, which was nowhere near as good as Halloween 4, which in turn led to Halloween 6, which, I mean, we've already set the bar pretty low here, but Halloween 6 is nowhere near as good as Halloween 5. If you want to call that diminishing returns, I guess you can, but nevertheless, that's what happened. So, my point in saying all of this is that calling Halloween 3 Season of the Witch sort of like timeline 2 of the Halloween movie series, it just shows the ignorance of what we're talking about here. But more? Oh, yeah, there's more. Moving right along. Timeline 3 Halloween Rebooted. Now, I'm actually kind of tempted to let this slide because a lot of people mangle all of these different words. You've got a revival, you've got retcon, you've got reboot. I can see where it can maybe get a little confusing for some people. Maybe they use a word that they didn't mean to use. But no matter how you care to look at it, Halloween H2O ain't no reboot. All right? The press around Halloween H2O is that it's basically It basically is a continuation of the story as it left off in Halloween 2. In effect, this is the new Halloween 3. You can ignore Halloween's 4, 5, and 6, and you can basically treat Halloween H2O. Uh, well, you can treat that as, like I say, the new Halloween 3. Now, me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think it's actually pretty easy to reconcile the events, characters, and continuity of Halloween H2O. Reconcile that stuff with Halloween's 4, 5, and 6. I don't think it's even all that hard to do. And I'll even go out on a limb and say there are certain elements, not major elements, you understand, but there are certain elements of Halloween H2O that really don't make very much sense unless Halloween's 4, 5, and 6 are in continuity. But nevertheless, the narrative intent of Halloween H2O is to ignore Halloween's 4, 5, and 6. And so, by definition, that's not a reboot, that's a retcon. So, from the jump, we're kind of having, we're having problems here with identifying Halloween 3 as part of this whole universe. But then, when you get into this, calling Halloween H2O a reboot, it's not a reboot. So, whatever. Moving right along, Timeline 4, which at this point really should be Timeline 3, Timeline 4 is the Rob Zombie universe. Well, this is not the Rob Zombie universe. This is the Rob Zombie reboot or the Rob Zombie remake, whatever you want to call it. But that's what it is. It's not its own. It's not like Rob Zombie has his own movie universe that he's somehow incorporated Laurie Strode, Michael Myers, and all that stuff. That he just incorporated all that stuff into. That isn't what happened. He was hired to create a remake of the original Halloween. He did, and I guess in so doing, the fact that there's a movie called Halloween 2 directed by Rob Zombie pretty much means that this is a reboot at this point. But however you want to categorize it, this is not the Rob Zombie universe. This is the Rob Zombie reboot or the Rob Zombie remake or whatever you want to call it. So there's another problem. And then we get closer to the bottom of this article, and that's when I guess the real agenda of this article starts coming out a little bit. This is where you start realizing, oh, this article is really meant to be kind of a puff piece for Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. So that's the game. And look, whatever. I've actually kind of got a growing disenchantment with Halloween 2018. Just the more time goes on, the more I think, you know what? Not really feeling Halloween 2018. But in any case, marvel not that shill writers get details like this wrong, like the Rob Zombie universe or Halloween H2O as a reboot, or season Halloween 3 Season of the Witch as having anything to do with the story of Michael Myers. These people are not fans of these properties. They don't really care about these properties. They don't really know anything about them. For them, everything is either clickbait or it's agenda mongering, right? But the idea of being invested in these characters or these movies or these comic books or these TV shows or just fucking whatever it is that we're talking about here, that is just so far removed from their agenda. This is the shill media. They exist to advocate for social justice or change characters' races or sexes for no reason, or for that matter, their sexual preferences for no reason. And it's whenever you read articles like this, you need to realize that the instant you click on it, they've already got everything they want out of you. You've already clicked. That means that in theory they're getting some kind of click through rate for your web traffic. There's always the possibility that you'll click on ads, which obviously I've got blocked. On and on and on. They don't care about you. They don't care about the properties that you're invested in. They don't care about anything. They're basically here to grift and, as I say, agenda monger. But that's really it. And so when people say that sites like CBR.com and God knows other ones are shill media, guys, you need to understand this is what they're talking about. So, anyway, I'm CJ, and that's that. Please comment, like, subscribe, and share. Doing those things really helps me out. Also, I'm on Twitter at Cole Loves Comics.